Good evening, folks. Welcome back to Celtic Fans TV as the final starting 11 prediction before the winter break for tomorrow's game away against St Mirren, and we come into it off the back of that 2-1 victory over Rangers on Saturday. I hope everybody's hangovers are cured at this stage and ready to go again for tomorrow. A huge win for us on Saturday. Credit to the team despite the form this month and the doubts surrounding the game. Again, in a big occasion, in a big derby, this Celtic team stood up, performed and came away with the points. It puts us back in control at the top of the table as well. An 8-point gap as it stands. Rangers have the 2 games in hand. If they were to win them both, we would have a 2-point lead. That's a much better position than it was going into the game. And I think the players deserve credit again, as I say, for raising their game and finding a way to win in these hard-fought fixtures. Incredible, really, that 3 days later the fallout is still continuing for a penalty shout that could never have been a penalty, and apparently Celtic should have had 5 or 6 or 7 or 8 men sent off. I don't know, I've lost count of all the shouts. Incredible, really. I think they're wanting to go to the highest court in the land about why this wasn't a penalty, and it could never have been a penalty because it was an offside in the build-up. It doesn't matter if it was given or if it was not given on the VAR check. It could never have been a penalty. If it had been given, the attacking phase of play would have been checked, the offside would have been realised, and the penalty could never have arisen. I don't know what's so hard to understand about that, but if it makes them feel better about having lost another one of these fixtures, then so be it. They also outshot us, according to their manager, 14 shots to 12, less shots on target than us, right enough. But again, if that makes them feel better about losing another one of these games, then they can batter on. We've just got to focus on winning this game tomorrow and putting together a consistent run. That's the only thing we've lacked this season. We've dropped far too many cheap points. We've got to go on a run now, try and be as consistent as possible in this second half of the season, and really regain control of the title race the way we had it before. I think the cheap points have been in the lesser games this season. In the bigger games, the really tough away fixtures at the start of the season, going away to Ibrox, we've won the 2 derbies. In the big games, we have stood up, we have performed, and we've got the results. It's these smaller games where we've given away far too many cheap points, and we've got to tidy that up in the second half of the season. But that victory on Saturday gives a really good platform now to go forward for the rest of the season. But as I say, it starts tomorrow at St Mirren, which is a really big game for us, and I expect it to be difficult, as it sometimes can be when we go there. Now, this video is sponsored by William Hill, Celtic's official betting partner. We've teamed up with them to give away some great prizes to you, the Celtic Fans TV audience. You can check out the match odds for tomorrow's game against St Mirren by clicking the link in the description of this video. As always, it's 18 plus, and please visit begambleaware.org. So St Mirren come into this game sitting 5th in the table. They've had a wee wobble compared to their really good form at the start of the season. They did get a brilliant victory at Pittodrie on Saturday, though. 3-0, they beat Aberdeen. In their last 5, they've had 2 defeats, 1 draw and 2 victories. And as I say, this can always be a stuffy game for us. We know St Mirren can make it difficult. If you think back to the first game we had against them this season at Celtic Park, it took a late winner, 84th, 85th minute from O, who came off the bench that night. They will defend well. They'll be disciplined. They'll make it really difficult for us. They'll be aggressive as well in terms of their physicality that they bring to the game. So we need to be right at it. And I heard the manager referencing the performances against Livingston and Dundee in the build-up to this game about how we need to make sure we move the ball quickly. I think the performance at Dundee was much better in that respect, and I think that's what we have to do. We have to make sure we start the game really well, take control of it, but play at a really good tempo and move that St Mirren defence about. We need lots of movement off the ball, and hopefully we can bookend that derby win, win another 3 points tomorrow, because it's so important after winning a big game like that that you get maximum points in your next game, particularly going into a break. We want to end this half of the season on a high, and we can only do that if we go and get 3 points tomorrow. So we'll get to the team for St Mirren, and we'll start in goals with Joe Hart, who I think maybe under the radar a wee bit. We did mention it in the full-time reaction. Made a really good save in the first half for Ross McCausland just when Rangers were having their spell. We needed half-time at that point. There's no doubt that they were coming into it. We dominated and we controlled the first half, I would say, up to 25-30 minutes, and then Rangers did have a 10-15 minute spell before half-time, but we needed Joe Hart to make, I think he had a couple of saves actually, but that one from McCausland really stands out. And again, people criticising him at the free kick. There's no doubt it's a good free kick from Tavernier, and it might be hypercritical, but that's going to happen. Given how Joe Hart's form has been this season, people are always going to be over-analysing free kicks. We've had a couple of cheap ones that we've lost this season, and I just think the only criticism I would maybe have is that he could move his feet quicker. There's no doubt it's a good free kick though. He does get a hand to it, but it's not enough to keep it out. But as I say, he made a big save at a crucial time in the game to keep us ahead and get in 1-0 at half time. Back four, 2 changes in there. I think Ralston might start in this game. I think Alistair Johnston is struggling at the minute, struggling for form. He obviously gave away a few sloppy passes towards the end of that first half. He plays that ball back to Dessers, and if it's anybody else apart from Dessers who takes an absolute age, he maybe wouldn't have been able to get it back and put enough pressure on to dispossess him, get the ball back to Joe Hart. But I think you can just tell Alistair Johnston that he's not the same this season. I know he had surgery on his ankle. I don't know if he's struggling even to maybe kick through the ball or if it's affecting some other part of his game, but he doesn't look like the same player. And we have had a lot of games recently. I think Anthony Ralston might be a good shout to come in and start this game. Mike Nawrocki finally should get a start tomorrow alongside Liam Scales. Greg Taylor will complete the back four. I thought Welsh was playing well before he came off with that shoulder injury. Carter Vickers not available till after the break. This is the opportunity that Nawrocki's been waiting on. I think he did really well considering that he hasn't kicked a ball for 4 months since he got injured at the start of the season. 1 or 2 slack passes early on, and then I think he's obviously rash, a wee bit too keen and naive maybe to go in and try and win the ball off Dessers late on, and that's the fill for the Tavernier free kick that goes in. But I think, considering the circumstances, how little football he's played, I thought he made some excellent tackles, some excellent blocks. He plays a great ball into Matt O'Reilly's feet for Kyogo's goal. Obviously that goes unnoticed because how well O'Reilly does with the pass, and then Kyogo's finish is absolutely unbelievable. It's easy to forget the pass that came before that, which is integral in the build-up to the goal. So I think Nawrocki did really well considering the circumstances, and this is his opportunity. This is how football works. You might think he's been hard done by, you might not, but now he's got the opportunity. Carter Vickers is injured, Welsh is injured. This is his chance to stake his claim and prove to the manager that he should have been playing, he should have been in more matchday squads so far. Because I think after the break, when Carter Vickers comes back, he might be obviously back down the pecking order. With Scales playing well, Carter Vickers obviously going to be first choice. This is his chance really to show the manager what he can do. And to be honest, I think he did himself no harm on Saturday, and hopefully that's the case if he does start again tomorrow. Midfield, I'm going unchanged. McGregor, O'Reilly and Bernardo, all three I thought were really, really good. Obviously Bernardo gets the goal. An unbelievable strike. I actually said half volley in the post-match pint, but I'd only seen it live at that time, haven't watched it back. It's flush on the volley. What a brilliant strike it is. Difficult technique, coming to you that fast. To get your technique right, strike it early, through the bodies into the far corner past Jack Butland's a great goal, a really, really good goal. I thought he did well in the game. I think the shouts that he should have been sent off are absolutely ludicrous. I think there's a better argument that Goldson should have been sent off for the challenge on him. There's Rangers media outlets saying that Bernardo cleaned out Connor Goldson, and he does nothing of the sort. All he does is run to close him down. He gets there as Goldson's playing the pass, and Goldson follows through knee high with his studs, clatters into his standing leg, by the way, which nearly hyperextends his knee. It was never ever another booking for Bernardo. The manager did bring him off because I think both him and O'Reilly were on yellow cards, but I thought his performance was really, really good. Bernardo, for his first taste of that fixture, I thought it was really, really good, and it should help his confidence again. As I say, 3 starts in a row now, 2 goals in his last 2 games. It should do him the world of good. Matt O'Reilly in the second half I thought was absolutely brilliant. Takes one on the face from Sterling as well, relatively early in the half, but soldiers on. I thought he was superb, and we talked a lot about McGregor after the game, who put in an unbelievable captain's performance, dragged the team through. You could tell from minute 1 that Callum McGregor was not going to be on a losing side in that football match. He wasn't going to let it happen. He was absolutely superb all afternoon. And again, in a big game, he's stood up and performed for us. Front 3, I'm going unchanged. Maeda, Palma and Kyogo. There should be a shout for putting Abada in, but again, Rodgers says he's going to be careful with Abada and Hatate. Abada's ahead of Hatate in terms of his fitness levels, but we only seen Abada for 10, 15 minutes towards the end of the game, so I don't think he'll throw him in. I think Maeda's output was really, really poor in the game. Got into good positions numerous times, and he was so wasteful. I think that's something, obviously we've associated that with him in his time at Celtic, but I think it's particularly bad since he's come back from injury. He really hasn't found any good crosses, any decent output at all. Every time he's got in a good dangerous position, he's wasted it. He is going to the Asian Cup with Japan. Whether that affects this fixture or not, I don't think so. I think the squad was only confirmed this morning, so he should be available tomorrow. Palma on the left-hand side, who I thought started the game well against Rangers, but then faded, and he annoys me a wee bit sometimes, Palma, because he gets the ball in these dangerous positions. He's obviously always looking to cut inside, but there's a couple of times he cuts inside, gets easily dispossessed, and then looks for a foul. He did it once late in the game against Tavernier and went down holding his face, and it was never a foul in a million years. I'd really like to see him tidy that up. He's got to either be braver, more decisive, get rid of the ball quicker, or stronger. I really hate that when it's like he's ran out of ideas. He's came inside again, and then he's gone down looking for a foul that never was. That is frustrating. But as I say, early in the game, he did look threatening. He was going on the outside. He put a couple of decent balls into the box. One I remember, I think Bernardo it is that gets on the end of it. And actually, if Bernardo times his header a bit better, it's probably a really good chance of a goal. So he was good in spells in the game, but as I say again, he faded. And I'd just like to see him be a wee bit more ruthless and a wee bit more decisive when he gets in those one-on-one situations out wide. Kyogo, obviously going to play through the middle. He was left out of the Japan squad, confirmed today, for the Asian Cup. That's obviously a good thing for us in the short term, I suppose, because he's here and he's available. We don't have a lot of strikers at all. We only have him and O, and we know that the drop-off to O is quite a big one. O is going with South Korea as well, so that is that's a position that we obviously need to look to strengthen this month and as quickly as possible. O, Tilio, Yang, Hatate and Maeda have all been selected. They will miss the Bucky Thistle Scottish Cup tie and then the Ross County game at home in the league, and then if they miss other fixtures, it's dependent on their team's progression through the tournament, but I think there's no doubt we need another striker. But in terms of Kyogo, on Saturday, as I say, one of the best goals we've seen in this fixture for a long time. Maybe since he's won at Ibrox, which is a belter as well, but the technique on his weak foot, he almost goes as if he's going to go in behind, and then he drops short, gets the ball for O'Reilly, and on his weak foot just buys himself half a yard round Connor Goldson and just curls it into the far corner. It's a brilliant goal. And who doubted him? Hands up who was doubting him, because I certainly wasn't, and you knew that his record in this fixture, his record in big games, even this season when he hasn't been at his best, he did get the 2 goals in the Champions League. He got the goal at Ibrox. He's a big game player. He does it in the big moments, and he did that yet again on Saturday. He is the player that I get the most joy from watching in a Celtic shirt since Henrik Larsson, and I was 8, 9, 10 years old when Henrik Larsson was at Celtic. That's as big a compliment as I can pay him. He puts a smile on my face. He scores goals that you just don't expect him to score. He's got these finishes like the one at Ibrox, the one in the cup final against Hibs a couple of years back, obviously. That one at the weekend, he's got this magic ability to score goals out of absolutely nothing. He's a brilliant player. I still think he's a bit underappreciated, to be honest, because he doesn't have the stature of a traditional striker in this country. And yes, he goes most games where he has very, very few touches. But I think that happens to a lot of strikers these days. That's how the game's changed. That's how tactically the game has changed and how build-up play changes. There's a lot of strikers that don't have many touches through a game, but he's a special, special player. And again, he showed it in that moment on Saturday, and it was the match-winning moment, and it deserved to be because it was a brilliant, brilliant goal. I hope personally, obviously he didn't get selected for the World Cup squad either in 2022 for Japan. He did go on to have a brilliant run after that. Hopefully, again, this is something that will motivate him, even though he'll be disappointed. This should motivate him to go and prove to the Japan manager that he should be in the squad. And again, I know they've got Ueda. I think Minamino might be injured, but I'm astounded the Japan manager thinks that he's got better players than Kyogo Furuhashi to fill his Asian Cup squad. But as I say, I suppose it's a good thing for us in the short term because he's here, he's available for selection, and hopefully that goal on Saturday will help his confidence, which hadn't been where it was last season so far this. But what a goal, what a player. And there you go, that's the team I think the manager will pick tomorrow. Let me know what you think in the comments below. If you disagree, let us know. Please don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already. We had an unbelievable response and subscriptions over the weekend. I hope you enjoyed all the content. It was a joy to make it after a result like that. We're way over 40,000 now, so thank you so much for all of your support, your continued support, and let's hope 2024 is another brilliant year for the Hoops. We'll see you tomorrow at St Mirren with the full-time reaction. Thank you.